guys, before we start, just a couple of things. First of all, my hair throughout this video is a mess. What can I say? It's the end of the semester and that's my hairstyle when it comes to that time. Second of all, I'm currently doing a semester abroad in Ecuador, so my materials are very limited and my sketches are not the best. Same for the sewing. There are many tools that I just didn't have here. And third of all, I didn't have a machine here, so I bought one and it was a used one. I repaired a lot of things, so I made it work, but it didn't work very well. That's all. I hope you enjoy and let's get into it. I have a streetcar named Desire. There's a very old movie with Vivian Leigh that I'm sure you all have at least heard of. And so I have two ideas. I think this is my preferred one. So we had to choose a artistic epoch that we want to apply on our costume, and I chose the surrealism. I chose the surrealism because it's a lot about the subconscious and dreams and a state of trance, and that's for me what Blanche duBois, the character that I'm making the costume for, is going through. She lives in an imaginary world and she tells more and more lies about her life and just creates this dream world that doesn't exist. So I sketched a couple of versions to find the final version, which is the one on the right side, and it ended up being a white bodysuit that she has underneath a see-through dress. The dress has off-the-shoulder sleeves that are also gloves and a midi skirt situation going on, and then these red hands that are made out of threads all over the dress. Hey guys, it's a week later and I just prepared the past hour for the class. I made another sketch. It's not a very beautiful sketch. I have very limited materials here, but it was more to show the exact cut of the dress. So I decided to make it off shoulder and have the sleeves be gloves too. So I made this design and I made a cost calculation. I just calculated that it will cost more or less $40 US to make this dress. That is not including finding a machine because I don't have one in Cuenca. I will probably research more about the fabric and everything once I'm in Cuenca, Ecuador. So I guess I'll see you guys there. Hey guys, it's 2 weeks later and I'm in Ecuador now. I took all of the measurements of my actress. I bought some technical stuff that I didn't have here. I'm ready to start making the pattern. You need 3 things, I think, or 2. First, something really yummy and unhealthy to eat while you're doing this. At least for me it's like that. 2, some good music. I just discovered Natalia Doko, a compañera de mi clase in university, recommended her to me. So I'm going to be listening to a lot of the music she sent me. Let's start. For the bodysuit, I followed a video that I will put into the description box down below. I followed it almost exactly, only I made my bodysuit without any sleeves. Okay, I cut my 2 pieces. So I made the 2 parts for the bodysuit, the front and the back, and I'm going to cut it from my fabric. So I bought a cotton jersey, white, really simple for the bodysuit because the bodysuit is only going to be the interior layer and then we will have an exterior layer. So this is going to shine through but not be the most noticeable texture. I chose to make the bodysuit double layered just so it would not be too transparent and have more grip to it. Therefore, I just cut the same pattern again and sewed everything together. Someone keeps blocking my way. I can't feel far. Now I think you can tell here that I'm struggling with the machine. This is nothing in comparison with how much I was struggling once I started to work with the chiffon. I didn't know that chiffon was so hard to work with, but with the cotton jersey it was still fine and I figured it out eventually. just to show you quickly what I did, I just sewed this part together and then I cleaned up this seam. And now I'm gonna clean up this seam and this one, and then the top one, and then sew this together. The first part of the costume is done. This is the bodysuit. It's almost done. I mean, this is still open because I have to put it on my actress and just make like little adjustments. I tried it on and it fit me quite well, but she's petite for her measurements, so it should fit her, but you never know. So she has to try it and then I can adjust these things. I bought this chiffon. It's a beautiful transparent fabric and I want to make the dress out of this. It goes on top of the bodysuit. Hold on, you can't even see me. Made a cut for the top part of the dress. Made a pattern for the top, so I'm gonna attempt to make this now. I'm nervous because, you know, the jersey cotton is not that fragile, you know, and this one is, so. But I think I'm a lot better now with the machine. I have like some insight of what are the problems of this machine, and so I haven't had any problems in the last hour, which is great. So I'm going to cut this. Wish me luck. A huge tip for anyone working with chiffon is to put paper and then your fabric on top of paper and then your pattern on top of the fabric and then pin everything together and then you cut it all together. That way the fabric is kind of sandwiched in between the paper and that just helps to have a straighter cut because it's super hard to cut chiffon. A hard part for me about working with chiffon were the seam lines. After trying different methods, I chose to flip them over once, sew them together so that they were stable, and then flip them over again and sew them together, and that way it looked clean. Okay, so this is not clean, but it's just the first one, and then I'm flipping it over and I'm sewing it again. I will cut off these little threads before I do that, just so it's a bit cleaner.
Take it easy on me. Can't feel when I can't breathe. Oh, it took a while for me.
So now I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the other half. I decided to make the arm part and the actual glove separate and then put them together because otherwise it's a bit hard to sew. So I'm done with these two. Great hairstyle, right? I slept around 5 hours last night, then I had class at 7, but it was my own fault. I have to sew today, the whole day, so that I can finish my costume for tomorrow, because that's when we want to film the scene with the costume and the light and everything. So I need a coffee. So let's go get it.
Staring out the window, reaching for a North Star, waiting just to wake up from this nightmare where you could be right back in my arms, dancing to the limbo, stuck here in the middle.
Definitely helps. I'm going to work on the gloves now. So making gloves out of chiffon might be one of the worst ideas I have ever had. It's so hard because the material is so stiff, there's no stretch at all, and it was just really hard to sew together, so I ended up sewing them by hand. I'm taking a little papaya break. I know it seems so simple and self-explanatory, but taking breaks is so important, especially with a bigger project like this one. Otherwise, at least for me, I will lose motivation and I will just be angry at the project when in fact it's something that I can learn from and something exciting. So it really helps me to take breaks. Okay, the gloves are done. They have the buttons, they have the loop for the buttons, they have the red kind of hand pattern, and they're done. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish the top, also with the buttons and these loops, and then I will get to the skirt. It's done! And now I'm gonna move on to the skirt. Okay, this is it so far. I am pretty proud of myself.